Okay. Good day to everybody, to my students, and then to all who are interested with the organization and management. Now we come up with the I've come up with the second to the last topic for organization and management, wherein we will be discussing the concept and nature of controlling. Controlling is the last part of the managerial functions, wherein we need to control. Okay, all of the plans that have been created will be controlled. See to it if the plan is being followed or not. Okay, and why is it important? And different techniques that is needed in order for a manager to be successful in controlling, and of course in the function of management. Okay, I will share my screen. So if you can see my screen, the concept and nature of controlling. Okay. So I have created, there is a motivational song, but because of um, that came from jw.org, wherein uh, uh, we need to endure, okay, endure. We need to control. Why? Because especially now we have a lot of challenges when it comes to health. So we need to control human people if there are lots of they will not go to work or absences. So that will greatly affect the plans. Okay, so we need to control. How can we do that? By having a replacement. Okay, for the activity that will be done by the persons who are having the absences. Okay, in order for the goals of the organization to still be achieved. Okay, so the managers will decide upon that on that. Okay, now the objective of the presentation, this module is the learner should be able to acquire the concept and nature of different control methods and techniques in an organization. So we will dig down, okay, some important aspects when it comes to control that came from the experts of management. But before that, let's see first this scenario that came from the module. We're in applying motivation and communication in leading. So this is a review wherein we have discussed last meetings about leading. So how can we do that by applying motivation and communication in leading? So this is the scenario. If you will read, how can you apply motivation and leadership in motivation and communication in your leadership position. Okay, so I will leave those answers. Okay, things that will be uh, uh, need to think about when you will be the one in position, or a leader of the organization. Okay, let's go to the actual meaning, nature, and principles of controlling. As you can see here, controlling is it's one of the managerial functions, and it is important element of management process. So after planning, organizing, staffing, and directing have been carried out, the final managerial function of controlling assures that the activities planned are being accomplished or not. So this is very important. Accomplishment. So if you cannot accomplish anything, that means your goal will not be achieved or failure when it comes to management. So what are other meaning of control? Control can be defined as the process of analyzing whether actions are being taken as planned and taking corrective actions to make this to confirm to planning. So manager will not stay on on the position of if there are uh, things that not being followed, he will just accept that. So the manager should do what is that? A corrective action so that it will confirm to planning. The plan should be followed and it has been agreed. And what are the things that will make the resources follow what has been planned? And there is an example here wherein according to Ernest Dale, defined as the modern concept of control envisages system that not only it provides out not only provides historical record of what has happened and provides data that enable the chief executive or department to head to take corrective steps if we find he is on the wrong track. Okay, just like driving a car, you will go to a destination that is your goal, an organization. Sometimes the organization needs to go left, go right, but they should follow the track. So the manager will see to it that the track will be followed. The whole organization will follow the direction of management. That control will come in. And then here is one known control needed for management. It's the management control. It is a process by which managers assures that resources are obtained and used effectively and efficiently in the accomplishment of the organization objectives. Okay, efficiently and effectively. So it's not only effective but also efficient because time matters when it comes to management. Further, it is defined as the process by which managers in the organization assure that activities and efforts are producing the desired objective of the organization. So managers can do that by having the control. These definitions imply three main points about management control. What is that? First, management control is a process of some interrelated sequential steps. Okay, so a management function is already a process. And then, secondly, management control in the organization aims at effectiveness and efficiency in the acquisition and utilization of resources as money, materials, machinery, and manpower. Okay, efficient and effective of having these resources. And thirdly, management control in the organization is designed to further objectives of the organization, achieve the objectives. So control will be designed, management control will be designed in achieving the objectives of the organization. So it is already clear the purpose of having the control and nature of controlling. Control is a function of management. Why? Because there are always having a follow-up action of the management. Yes, plans are already there, but of course, you need to check, oversee if this has been being followed. So it is just like a follow-up action. Control is based on planning. So the plan will be set as the desired performance or standard of the organization. So the controls will be based from those plans. And number three, control is a dynamic process. continuous review and performance. So once the activities are already there, they need to always check continuous review. And of course, corrective action may be needed or may lead to changes in other functions of management. So they really need to follow based on the corrective action if there are some problems occurring in the plan. Information is the guide to control. So what are those information? The feedbacks, availability of feedbacks. If those things is doable or those things have difficulties, so the feedback will be coming from the actual operation. So they will give a feedback to the manager, and the managers will check if there are things they can do in order to fix it. The essence of control is action. So corrective action. So the performance of control is achieved only when corrective action is taken on the basis of feedback information. So while ago there's a feedback, they need to have a corrective action. It is a continuous activity. Sometimes it involves revision, constant revision and analysis of standards resulting from the deviations between actual and planned performance. So if there is a deviation, we need to revise, we need to improve. Delegation is the key to control. Delegate the necessary authority for it. So a person has authority to control these functions for which he is directly accountable. So if you will delegate somebody as a manager, okay, he will have the responsibility or authority for that. Control standards help a manager expand his span of management. And the other one, control aims at the future. So results to improve performance in the future. That's why there are corrective actions imposed. And control is a universal function of management. So as you can see, there are in every level of management, there are controls. Okay, to achieve the goal, uh, no manager can get things done without the process of controlling. Once a plan becomes operational, follow-up action is required to measure the progress, to uncover deficiencies, and to take corrective actions. Therefore, control is essential managerial function at every level. The process of management is incomplete without controlling. And control is positive. So it makes things happen. So it should never be viewed as being negative in character. Now let's go on with the principles of controlling. First one is control should have objectives. It should possibly contribute to the achievement of the group goals by promptly and accurately detecting deviations from plans with a view to making corrective action possible. So it is included, it should contribute with objectives. And interdependence of plans and control. Principles of interdependence states that more the plans are clear, complete, and integrated, and the more the controls are designed to reflect such plans, the more effectively controls will serve the need of the managers. Okay, so interdependence should be clear, complete, and integrated. And control responsibility. The primary responsibility for the exercise of controls rests in the manager charged with the performance of a particular plans involved. Okay, so responsibility goes hand in hand with the control. Uh, okay, so if it will be effective, they can see who's responsible on that, okay, activity being effective. It means it is properly controlled. Principle of controls being in conformity to organization pattern. So controls must be designed as to reflect the character and structure of plants. Should be conformity with the organizational pattern. If the organization is clear and responsibility for work done is well defined, control becomes more effective, and it is simple to isolate persons responsible for the deviation. Okay, so that happens. Efficiency of controls. When I say efficiency control techniques and approaches are effectively detected deviations from plans and make possible corrective actions with a minimum of unsought consequences. Okay, it can easily be checked if you have the proper or control techniques. Future-oriented goals. It stresses that control should be forward-looking. Effective control should be aimed at preventing present and future deviations from plans. Okay, future-oriented goals. That's why you have your corrective action. Okay, you need to correct some fault problems that can be found in your controls. Strategic point control. We don't have the number 7. It's individuality of controls. It is in number 7. Okay. Control should be designed to meet the individual requirements of managers in the organization. And for number 8, strategic point control, effective and efficient control requires that attention to be given to those factors which are strategic to the appraisal of performance. Okay? Strategic, that means controls that will be planned for 1 year. Okay? And then exception principle. Okay? For the exception principles whereby exceptions to the standards are notified should be adopted. Note must be taken on the varying nature of exceptions, as small exceptions in certain areas may be of greater significance than larger exemptions elsewhere. So in every control, there are some exemptions. And the number 10, principle of review. The control system should be viewed periodically. periodically. Okay? The review exercise may take some of all points emphasizing the above stated principles. Besides flexibility and economical nature, or control should not be lost sight or while reviewing controls. So principal review, it differs. Sometimes some organization have it, weekly, okay, in order for them to check at once if there are deviations or changes in their controls. Techniques of control, the nature and use of managerial control techniques in accounting and marketing. So technique number one is the statistical control reports. This type of reports are prepared and used in large organizations. Reports are prepared in quantitative terms. Just like in my previous job, the there are controls wherein the results they are taking the results every monitoring. If that deviates within the control, high and low, okay, the the management will be informed. Okay, but if it does not deviate within the limits, so the production should continue. Okay, statistical control reports. And technique number two, personal observation. Using this technique, the manager personally observes the operation in workplace. So some of the managers will go out of their office and go to the production. The manager corrects the operations whenever the need arises. This is oldest method of control, but this is still very effective. There are times when managers will just see if can easily see if there are problems in the organization or in the production by having the visual technique. If the machines are colored green, that is means the machines are operational. If it's colored yellow or red, that means there are problems in the operation. So it can be done by personal observation. Technique number three, cost accounting and controls. Cost accounting and cost control. So this one, profit of any business depends upon the cost incurred to run the business. Profit is maximized by reducing the cost of operation or production. So business concern gives much importance in the cost accounting and cost control. So lessen the cost, improves production, okay, improves profit. Another one is special control reports. This report may or may not contain statistical data. Using this technique, a particular operation is investigated at a specified time for a specified particular purpose. This is done according to the requirements of management, but not on a regular basis. The deviations from the standards are paid additional attention and corrective action is taken. So special control reports and internal audit. Internal audit report is prepared on a regular interval, normally by months. It covers all the area of operation. This report is sent to the top management. The management takes steps to control the performance on the basis of the report. Internal audit report emphasizes the degree of deviations from expectation. And this is very important as one of the control of management. Responsibility accounting. So the performance of variations of some people is judged by having how far they have achieved predetermined objectives. Okay, the objectives are framed section-wise, department-wise, and division-wise as assessed similarly. So separated by departments or sections, have given authority or responsibility. Managerial statistics. In managerial statistics, the using this technique, the manager compares the past results with the current results in order to know the causes for changes. So these are very useful to the top management in planning and decision making for the future. So changes, they have the basis and then compare the existing and then the what is actual happening. And there are different benefits of controlling. Control provides the basis for future action in the organization. Okay, so the things that they have experienced will be their basis for their future actions later on. Control facilitates decision making in the organization because they already have the data, things that they have, need to improve, and possible things to be encountered. So it facilitates decision making. An effective if, system control facilitates the centralization of authority only when corrective measures are taken. So decentralization, the controls will be given to each department or sections, and responsibility will be given to them. Control and planning go hand in hand in the organization. Control is the only means to ensure that the plans are being implemented. So in real sense and not some other else. Control points out of the shortcomings of not only planning but also other functions of management such as organizing, staffing, uh, directing in the organization. The existence of a control system has a positive impact on the behavior of employees in the organization. They are cautious when performing the duties in the organization and they know what that supervisors of in the organizations are observing them. And that's all for the concept and nature of controlling. So if you will be a manager later on, see to it that these controls is properly stated, properly taken on account, okay, and uh, the basis for future activities of the organization. Okay, thank you for watching.